Good afternoon, everybody. This is Susan Sweeney, one of the deans at eLearnU, and I'd like to welcome you to today's program, 5 Steps to Outrank Your Competitors Online and Generate More Sales Without Paying Google. For anybody that's new on the line today, what we're going to do is go for 50 minutes with great content, and then we'll go to our questions and answers. And we do our questions one of two ways. You can either type your question in the question area as we go along, and I will read those questions out to our expert today, Bassem Ghali. Alternatively, if you'd like to speak directly to Bassem to get your question answered, you can raise the little hand symbol in front of you. That lights up on my screen and lets me know that you want me to unmute you so that you can speak directly to Bassem and get your question answered. I will let you know, of course, before I do that. I'll say your name, let you know that I'm going to unmute you, and I will. Then you get to have a little conversation with our expert, get your question answered, and then I'll mute you again and we'll go on to the next question. So on with today's program. Our expert today is Bassem Ghali, and Bassem is the founder and head of client strategy for Green Lotus. He's a search engine marketing strategist, and he's a speaker with more than 8 years of experience managing online marketing strategies for some of Canada's largest corporations, including Canadian Tire, Direct Energy, Toronto Star. Demonstrated success in online marketing has led to speaking engagements at various events, including Search Engine Strategies Toronto, University of Toronto School of Consulting Studies, the Newmarket Chamber of Commerce, the American Marketing Association, Soho Business Expo, and more. Bassem, actually, I've just noticed on his website, was recently named Entrepreneur of the Year by the Canadian Marketing Association, and that was as a result of his search engine software, so that's great. Bassem is also the driving force behind Green Lotus, and he has a knack for creating innovative online strategies for medium, large businesses, and nonprofits. Bassem, we're so happy to have you back again with us today, and really looking forward to your program.
Amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me again. I think this is the third or fourth time. I always have a great time, and I love sharing expertise and content, and I always learn from you guys. So thank you for giving us an hour of your time today. All right, so let's start with our presentation today. So the whole idea is about search engine optimization is the organic way of generating leads without actually spending any money on leads. And that is what we call the power of search engine optimization. It's how to influence your website so Google can see you as a top authority, as a top quality site, and put you on that first page of Google. We're going to walk you through the whole process on how to do that. Half my presentation will be about the theory, and the other half will be some demonstration from the tools itself. Actually, before we go in there, the first half, as I mentioned, will be about the theory and how search engines work and what are the most important factors. But if you can spend 2 minutes and sign up for a free trial for the tools, there's no credit card required, there's no software to download. You simply go to greenlotustools.com and click on the big orange startup free trial. You'll have 30 days free trial, and you will also be able to follow up with me on those 5 steps on how to rank your competitor and actually leave this session today with some actionable items. Again, the steps that we're going to be doing today are applicable to any tools that you're using or there are some other free tools out there. So it's up to you which tool you use. The steps that we're going to be talking about is applicable across everything. But it would be nice if you want to try the tools and actually learn on the spot how we're going to do this together. So we already covered my career. I had the honor to work with some of the biggest companies here in Canada, like Toronto Star and Canadian Tire. It really taught me a lot, and working in the corporate life kind of helped shape up what businesses need and how they work. Since we launched Green Lotus, I think we managed somewhere around $4.2 million in media buy and marketing management for some of Canada's top clients like Ryerson University, Academy of Toronto, StoreNet, Egypt Air. So this is what we specialize in. We're a very boutique agency that only specializes in search engine optimization and search engine marketing. In 2015, we launched Canada's first search engine optimization tools for entrepreneurs. And that's what the Canadian Marketing Association really liked about what we did, and I'm very grateful to be called Canadian Entrepreneur of the Year. The title sounds huge, but it was one of the happiest days of my life. All right, so let's talk about why is SEO a must for any business? Why your business has to consider SEO as a main channel of marketing and sales. No matter what you sell, there are people looking for what you offer. And if there's not, then you've got to reconsider your business. But 90% of us, 89% of us actually, go to search engines, Google, Microsoft, and Yahoo, to find about new products or new services. Either you buy it online or go check it in the store or give them a call. The search always starts online. So this is how we search as the new generation, as the internet powers all of us. So 9 out of 10, almost everyone, when they're looking for a new product or new services, we know where to go. 75% of those people do not go to the second page of Google if they don't find what they're looking for. Think about what you did the last time you didn't find what you're looking for on the first page of Google. You go and retweak and research again the search phrase that you're searching for, because you expect to find the perfect results within the first 3 to 5 listings on Google, and this is how Google treats us. They're very good quality providers of the best answer for your question. So just those two numbers shows you if you are missing SEO, you are missing a lot. And if you're not on the first page of Google, then you're not seeing anything, because people don't go to the second page of Google. Actually, some experts say that the second page of Google is a really good place to hide a dead body. So it's either first page or not, and this is how it works. The third number I want to share with you is that 43% of all Google search queries are local. What does that mean? That means that the search query has a local intent. When we search for something, we usually know two things. We know what we want, and we know where we want to get it. So I search for chartered accountant in Toronto, new homes in New York, new condos in Ajax. So we always know two things: what do we want and where we want to get it. And that is almost half the searches that happen on Google. So what we learned from this slide is that there is a lot of people looking for what you offer. 90% of them use search engines to make a decision on buying your product or your service. And you got to be on the first page of Google, or it doesn't really matter where you are. And people are already looking for your service and your product in your neighborhood, in your city. So we just need to figure this out and connect the dots and make search engines believe that we are the best results for them. So how do we do that? So one of the things we need to talk about is what are the ranking factors, how search engine algorithms evolve and change. And in order to understand that, if we do understand that, we will be able to influence them and play by the rules to get on that first page of Google. So the next question here is how to rank higher on search engine. Unfortunately, I do not have the answer for that question, and sorry to waste your time because I'm not Google. But what I'm going to share with you is the best practices of what all SEO experts agreed on to be those top ranking factors. So there are two major important pieces of information we need to know here. The first one is Google do not rank websites, or search engines do not rank websites. They rank with pages. So every page on your website has its own identity, has its own unique URL. The URL is an address, right? And it has its own unique opportunities to rank for different keywords and to rank for different opportunities to get you that. So don't think about your homepage as your site. Actually, your homepage, I haven't seen your homepage, but your homepage is the worst page of your website. Why? Because my homepage is the worst page of my website, because I ask a lot of questions in there. Here's about us. Here's our mission statement. We've been in business since 1819. Like, there's so much questions that happen on the base on the homepage of your website that is not really a good converting page. you actually want people to land from search engines into the page that talks specifically about this topic. So if I search for accounting in Toronto, and my website offers 5 different services, accounting, bookkeeping, that is, I don't want them to land on my homepage where they can read about all of these services. I want them to land on the page that specifically talks about accounting services of Toronto, give them a phone number and a contact form, and off you go. This is the ideal strategy that you want to do. The second piece of information we want to talk about is how many factors that Google includes in their ranking algorithm. There's about 180 to 250 factors that are included in the search algorithm per page. So every page on your website is evaluated on 250 factors. And it's going to be very hard to cover all of these for you today. So what I did is I put those factors into 3 main pillars to kind of help us understand how to tackle this issue. So the first pillar is popularity, or sometimes we call it authority. This pillar is majorly influenced by the domain age. So if your domain, if you bought your domain in 1990 or 1980, that's basically the grandfathers of all domain names. You have a really good authority spot. If you're a new business, started a few years ago, you will have a big hurdle in this channel, because domain authority is like how Google looks at a company. I'm like, my company established since 1940, so you're not fly by night, and I trust working with you. And this is kind of the same way Google look at your domain age. Page authority, as we talked about, every page of your website has its own authority, or how what's the quality of this page. Google even can evaluate the writing skills of your English. So they actually can tell if you're like grade 12 writing English here. The total backlinks. Backlinks is one of the biggest factors that there's a lot of misconception about this. So let's start by explaining what is a backlink. The backlink is a link from your site to my website, so it actually benefits me. Why benefit me? Because the amount of links pointing to you, that means how popular are you? So, or how trustworthy are you? So if I'm an accountant and I have a blog post about taxes, federal taxes, and at the end of the article I said, for more information, click here, and I link to the government website. In this case scenario, who has more authority, my website or the government website? And if you get the government website have more authority, then you are correct. So we want to reverse engineer this problem or this issue here to influence more people to link to me and say, I know what I'm doing, trust this guy. This guy is a good authority for whatever content he offers. Next, there is the .gov and .edu links. You cannot buy links from a .gov or a .edu domain name. So Google gives these links a very high top value. So if you have any association with any government department or education sector, do your best to get a link from their website to your website. There's also the anchor text. What is the words that are used in the link itself? So are you using click here? Are you trying to rank for the word click here? Or you're saying federal tax, 5 best practices, and that is the link. So that's more value. Referring IP addresses, how many different, the diversity between the links pointing to you, and your press releases. Are you mentioned in any local magazine, newspaper, and things like that? Google really evaluates that. So that is the first pillar we're going to be worrying about when we talk about the major factors that helps you ranking on search engine. The second pillar is relevancy. And relevancy is how relevant is your website to what I'm searching for. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, and they tell me about them, I want to rank for this keyword, and I go to their homepage, and I can even find the keyword. So bottom line, you can't rank for a keyword that is not on your website. And that will take us down to what is your content quality? Is your content being optimized? Are you following the best practices for title tags and descriptions and things like that? The site structure is every page of your website is sitting on the root folder, and it's like a big warehouse, or your website has structure and folders, and Google can actually go in and try to understand what are you talking about. Content frequency, and that's one of the most important parts. Google wants to know if you're alive. But when was the last time you showed Google that you're alive? If your website has not been updated for the last 3 years, your company might bankrupt and nobody bothered to take your website down. So why would you expect people to put you on the first page? So you got to prove to Google that you're alive and you're human. And these are two basic but most important factors that they rely on. And internal linking structure and image alt tags, these are a lot of things to talk about. We're going to jump to the third pillar here, which is social signals. This is actually a new pillar of ranking factors were added to Google ranking algorithm, I think about 2 years ago. And the whole idea here is that Google spanned the hell out of, people spanned the hell out of Google and built link farms in unethical ways. So Google said, well, I'm going to rely on humans to evaluate humans. So if your page has 3,000 Facebook likes or shares and a couple of thousand Twitter shares for that specific page, I'm not talking about followers of you on Twitter or Facebook, I'm just talking about the popularity of that specific page, then this is a page liked by humans and it's trusted by humans. Google Plus. Google Plus is it's a graveyard. Nobody really uses it. But 2 years ago, also around the same time for that update, Google Plus has become the spine cord of all Google properties. So your Google account maps, your YouTube, your analytics, your webmaster tools, they're now all connected through Google Plus. So just do me a single favor here today, and after we finish this webinar, go and verify your Google Plus account and just connect all the dots. I'm just going to show to Google that there is a human being here that are responsible for this business, and they really value that. I'm not asking you to post on Google Plus. Just verify that you are the business owner of this account. And then we're talking about the Facebook likes and shares and mentions. We call all of this citation. Citation is not the amount of followers you have on social media. It's not how many times they like your content, but it's basically the mentions of your domain name on social media. So how many people came to your website and shared this page or tweeted about this page? And we can understand the overall fan base. So those are the main three pillars. And I hope you're not confused because SEO is a little bit tricky. So to help you kind of focus more on what to do, let's talk about which one is the most important one. So take a second here and think about which pillar of those three pillars are the most important ones. So what I'm going to share with you today, again, it's my own analysis. It's not verified by anyone, but popularity or authority is 60% is the most important pillar in these three pillars. Relevancy is the second most important pillar, and social signal, I was actually going to give it 3%, but I said, well, let's give it 5%. And the main reason for that is social signal is just the icing on top of the cake. I meet a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners that think that the more time they spend on social media will help their ranking. If you're one of those guys, you couldn't be more wrong. People do not go to Facebook to find a lawyer or an accountant. It is not a place for generating sales. Usually the products that work very well on social media is the $50 and less type of product. So if you're selling new homes or you're a hotel or stuff like that, it is not the best channel to generate sales. I'm not saying do not do social media. I'm saying do not do social media for SEO. Do social media for engagement. Do social media for awareness and re-engaging with your already existing fan base. But it's not an SEO channel. And another thing to kind of help us focus on that as well is which channel should I start with first? And the first channel you should start with is relevancy. That is the channel number one. If you have a house and you're selling your house, before you invite real estate and people to come view your house, is to fix the doors and the windows and stuff like that. So you have to make sure that your website is in top-notch position, multi-friendly, optimized, all the SEO and meta tags are filled up before you even start thinking about links or social media. Just get your website, get your house organized first. Second, building popularity and authority is an ongoing task. You have to get SEO at least an hour a week or 2 hours a week. SEO is not like, oh, I'm going to devote 40 hours this month for SEO and then I'm going to do nothing for a year. No, let's devote only an hour a week to reach one single link a week or some very small tactics. SEO is a long-term strategy and they show results within 3 to 6 weeks. All right. So we're going to talk about the top 5 steps to outrank your competitors. These are the tasks that we're going to be doing. We will be switching to the tools right now. So if you have signed up for Green Lotus Tools, you will be seeing a screen just like that. But if you not, feel free to kind of join the ride and see what type of supports we have. Again, everything we are doing here is applicable to any tool you might be using. It's kind of a universal best practices. But let me show you what we have here a little bit. So the first thing you're going to see on your dashboard is the do-it-yourself SEO checklist. So this is the bigger version of this presentation. We're only talking about 5 steps. There are more than 200 detailed SEO tasks in there. So one of the tasks, find your competitors to get more suggestions on related keywords. We tell you what the task is. We tell you what tool you should use to accomplish this task. And when you do it, you check it, and the tool will kind of track your progress. This will keep you in a positive progress and with a structured plan to accomplish your SEO goals and strategies. So let's do an overview of the navigation and how you work this tool. So it's exactly designed as I explained in that last slide. So everything in here under the site audit is basically your site relevancy. This is the channel where we talk about relevancy. Link building, that is the pillar or the channel where we talk about popularity. Social metrics is social. And the last one here is the marketing analytics. This is every single report about SEO you could ever wish for. All right, let's jump in and talk about those 5 steps. I'm going to show you 5, 6 tools today, but we have more than 35 in here. So feel free to play around and use the free trial to the best of your advantage. So the first tool we're going to be talking about in the keyword research is the keyword suggestion tool. So under the tools, click on keyword research and then get suggestions. When you use this tool, we have API connections with multiple resources, as I'm going to explain to you. You don't need to go to too many places and export Excel sheets and do all this hectic stuff that we used to do in the past. So for example, I looked for web design and the keyword suggestion tool, and the keywords spit out some other keywords that are related to what I'm talking about here. But let's take a look on how to evaluate the best keywords for us. So the first metric here is the average monthly search for this word globally. The second column here is the average search locally in Canada, and you can customize this to show data from the States or just from the state of New York. You can go as broad or specific as much as you want to in this column. And these two data are coming from Google Keyword Planner. So it's not even our own data. We have an API connection with Google Keyword Planner, and we get to use this data from. This column here is the bid competition. So this explains how desirable is this keyword for your online, how popular it is, and how many people are willing to bid on it and compete on getting people that want this keyword. So the more full bar is the more competitive, and the less full bar is the low or medium competition. So this data is coming from Google AdWords. The fourth column here is the search trend, which is the seasonality of your product. So every little chart here is a month. So it shows you that this product is popular in October, November, December, for example. The last column here is a new metric we invented called Keyword Effectiveness Index. And this index is not your ideal, it's not your idle and only metric you should measure your keyword with, but this will help you to compare between two similar keywords, or which keyword should I use. So is it SEO tools for entrepreneurs or SEO tools for small, medium businesses? Which keyword should I choose? This is where the Keyword Effectiveness Index will help you, because it will tell you which ones you have more chances and more odds with. So ideally, the keyword that we will have more chances to rank on the search engine for is a keyword that is highly searched but does not have as much competition. And this is what the PEI metric shows you. Then we're going to go to spy on competitors. So I always say, do not reinvent the wheel. Just figure out what your competitors are doing and do exactly the same. You will be far along than just trying to create your own SEO strategy. So in here, you can type a website here, and the tool will go scrap it for you and tell you what are the keywords that is used most on those websites. And will also present you with the same amount of data. And then the Keyword Search Console, this is where you connect your website to Google Webmaster Tools, and we show you the data from there. And the last one here is the Keyword Basket. So if you notice, when we did the keyword research, there was a plus button that we used. And if you like any keyword while using Green Lotus Tools, you can click on this plus button here, and this will take all the keywords that you like and save them on the keyword basket with all the information I just showed you. You can tag them, you can categorize them, you can filter them, you can export them, so you don't need to worry about where you save your keyword research. So it's all available to you on the cloud. And no matter what subscription level you have with our tools, you have unlimited access to this keyword research tool. All right, we're going to move to step number 2. So step number 1, what is the keyword should I target? Which keyword should I use to describe my business? And a lot of business owners fall in this mistake. So your product or service is not what you think it is, it's what people call it is. And to find that, that's why you need to use a keyword research tool. Then we're going to go to the technical audit. We got a very clever tool here that scan your website once a month and keep the historical data for 12 months. And we will be able to tell you, we measure about 8 major points on your website. So we have pages not found issues in here. So we tell you what the pages are, where the link exists, and which line in the source code that this link is actually broken at. And all of this data here you can export, you can print, or you can mail directly in team to give you that ability to figure out what is wrong with your page, with your website. You don't have to go to every page and keep clicking on the images and the links to figure out what's wrong. The tool will tell you what the error is, where does it exist, and also how to fix it. So these are the rules that you pass. There's no broken images, there's no broken anchors, there's no server issues, but we also tell you what is wrong. And you can see here that at this time the slow pages went up, and that was because there was an update on the website, and the server was not as optimized. So we have an idea. You don't need a user calling you by phone and like, oops, your website is not working. I can't pay you. You need your own tool to make sure that your website is actually performing well at all times. And then another step here we're going to be talking about is the SEO analysis. So this is the tool that we're going to be talking about today, the on-site SEO issues from an SEO perspective. So for the first time, you actually have a number that measures how optimized your website. So in this case study, this website is 53% optimized. And we're not pulling this number out of a hat. We have our own algorithm, but again, it's not certified by Google or anyone. It's just our own algorithm to say that this website is 53% optimized. We scanned 1,000 pages of this website. We found 2,200 on-site page issues. Their pages indexed in Google is about 13,000 and increased by 200 pages from the last scan we did. And this domain is 17 years old. So these are one of the stuff that we track and keep an eye on all the time. So, for example, there is an error here we captured that their page titles are long, and that is exceeded the recommended length here. And we actually explain to you what you should be doing. And if you don't know what the title tag looks like, we actually explain it here in the tools, and you can see where those pages that have those errors, and you can actually read the title tag in here. So again, anything you see on this screen can be exported, could be downloaded, or could be mailed directly from the tools to your dev team. And we tell you what the errors or what the major things that you failed to pass, but we also tell you what you have done a good job at, and tell you that you don't have a 302 redirect. So all of these stuff that we confirm and tell you what's going on your website. And again, we scan your website once a month, and we keep the historical data for 12 months. You actually have an idea over time what is going on. You can even add events. You can actually say, on this date, I updated my WordPress website, and you actually record this in the tool, and it will show you on the timeline when you are viewing reports. We're not going to talk about these tools, but you can check your page speed, your mobile optimization. All of this stuff is available right here. But we're going to be jumping to the next pillar, which is the authority and the popularity of a website. Before we talk about this, we really got to understand how do we stand against our competitors. So in the tools here, we go under backlink quality check. We go to competitors, link profile. This is one of my favorite tools here because it gives you an apple-to-apple perspective on how do you stack up against your competitors. And those factors on the left side here, those are all the factors that actually we talked about in here. Where is that slide? So those are all the factors we talked about in here. And if you want to read more about them, all you have to do is just hover over this, and I'll explain to you what is a domain trust flow. Domain trust flow is a score between 0 to 100 that shows the trustworthiness of a website. It's based on the quality of the backlinks pointing to your domain name. So we actually explain everything we talk about in here, and you can see this website 27, and their top competitors 29. You can understand what is your total backlink and how it's actually shaping over time. Are you losing links or are you gaining links? It also shows you if you have any links from educational institutes or government. As you can see, this competitor have 2 links from the government, and none of the others have these 2. As you can see, this report is actually powered by Moz and Majestic SEO. So again, we did not reinvent the wheel. Moz and Majestic SEO have the most powerful history data on backlinks. So we buy the data from them in bulk and offer it in our tools for free. Sorry, it's not for free, for cheaper cost. So to get a Moz account is about $120 US. To get an account with Green Lotus is about $40 Canadian. But we are getting the data from the most trusted sources like Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools, and also we're buying quality data to show in these reports. So remember when I talked about finding your competitors and find what works for them? This is exactly what we're going to show in competitor backlink spots. And this profile does not have. Here we go. So again, I love apple-to-apple perspectives, and this is how we design the tools. So it shows you link by link who is linking to you or who is linking to your competitors, but not you. So this is one of our clients, ExploreNet, and they are competing against Rogers, Storm.ca, and Bell Canada. So as you can see, there is a link from this website that are linking for all of them. But look at this link here that is linking to 3 of the 3 competitors that we're tracking and not linking to my clients or the person that is using this tool. What this means? This means 2 things. First, that this website is relevant to what I do because it's linking to 3 out of my 3 of my competitors. As you can see here, it has a high quality trust flow and citation flow. So this is a very valuable link to go after. Second, a piece of information I learned here is that this website is more likely to link to me since they are linking to my competitors. So I can contact them and say, listen, I have a really good blog post about this topic that my other two competitors blogged about. Can you post this blog post for me? Or go find out if it's a directory and you can submit your business listing to it. It's even easier. Things like that. Those types of links. I can't say how important those manual links, because SEO is often called organic or organic traffic. And the reason for that is search engines like and love organic growth. So if you do things organically and gradually, you will be rewarded highly. But if you, as we all receive those emails, pay us $10 and we'll submit your website to a 10,000 website. Well, what do you think Google's going to think when they scan your website tomorrow and find 10,000 more links coming to you? It does not look organic. It does not look natural. So if you go after those links, it's one of the best odds will actually get higher ranks fast. And you can export the list here, the CSV, and give it to an intern. Go website by website, tell us what we can do, and if you have already submitted a listing for us. So this is a very good way to build your link authority and link popularity. Another place to build more backlinks coming to you is what we call our content submission center. We have about 9 categories of links that we recommend you to get based on our past experience in evaluating such links. Again, this is all made up by me and other fellow SEO experts. So, for example, if you have a local business, we recommend submitting your website to these directories or search engines. So there's Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, and it depends. Every country has its own high-quality local directories, and those are the links that we want to go after. So here's US and Canada, for example, and when you submit a link, you check this, and the tool will track your submission and actually go and verify if this link was submitted correctly or not. One last thing I want to refer to here is the chosen link watch. This is the advanced portion of the presentation, so if some of you actually use SEO link building techniques. So this is a tool where you actually say, I had an agreement with Bassem, and he's going to put a link to my website from his homepage. So you put the URL that is the link coming from, and the text that you agree that the link will stay. And you save it in the link watch, and our tool will go scan this page and verify if the link still exists, or alert you if it was removed, or I start doing a funny business and the quality of my website drops. So this is for the advanced people that actually do lots of ongoing SEO deals and stuff like that. All right, we're going to move to social. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because social is again, only 5%, but let me give you the quick overview of what matters from a social perspective. So in here, we actually measure the Facebook engagement of every page of your website. So when we talk about social media from an SEO perspective, we're not talking about the shares and the fans and how many people check them on Facebook in your location. We're simply talking about citation. How many times were your domain name mentioned in a Facebook post? So as you can see here, we also share the citation, the likes, the share, the comments of every single page on your website. And that will give us, if you connect Google Analytics to the tools as well, we will also show you a column here at the end that shows how many people came from this page because it was shared on social media and things like that. What else should we show? Competitor social citation. This is where we measure you apple to apple on 4 channels, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. So it quickly shows who is winning. So obviously, Bell is winning on Facebook, and Rogers is winning on Google+, and LinkedIn. Nobody is really caring about Pinterest here. All right, so let's move to, that's the final step that we're going to be talking about, how to evaluate that this SEO stuff is working for you. What is the one number metric metrics that you should be really worried about to see if any marketing strategy succeeds or not. It's obviously sales and money. But since my tools cannot measure sales and money in your sales force, we're going to rely on two most important factors. The two most important factors is your keyword ranking and your organic traffic increase. If you're on the advanced side and you can actually measure conversions from organic, that will give you a new metrics of return on investment. But let me show you the most basic two metrics we need to be worried about. So here I'm going to go under keyword ranking, and I'm going to be viewing the competitor backlink analysis. So we have more than 270 search engines you can measure from any city. So you can, for example, search. So this client, for example, is measuring Google.ca, and you can measure Google.ca mobile or YouTube. We're actually the only SEO tools that I know of that measure ranking on YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine, and a lot of people use it. But you can simply add new search engines and locations to say, I want to target in Italy, in Italian or mobile, and things like that. You can really nail down on your demographics here. So let's take a look at this. We measure ranking on all 6 verticals of a search engine. The 6 verticals are, where are they? Here we go. Ads, videos, places, images, news, and shopping. Those are the 6 types of results that shows up on Google. So sometimes when we search for something, we see a YouTube video or a press release or so on. So for example, this keyword is ranked, Bill has ranked on this keyword twice. The first result is number 3. As you see, that was an ad. And the second time they ranked for this keyword was 47. 47 means page 5, position number 7. How is that calculated? So page 1 have from 1 to 10, page 2 have from 11 to 20, and so on and so forth. My client, ExploreNet, is actually ranking number 1 organically on this keyword. So you can tell the difference. And they also show you, if you advance from last scan, so this keyword jumped 17 points from the last scan. And if you don't want to look at all these numbers and we're tracking 2,000 keywords for this client, for example, you can take a look at the summary and figure out how many keywords on the page 1 position number 1 is 5, how many keywords on the first page of Google is 134, and that increased by 4 points. We also have an idea of over time. It's a long-term strategy, and you always need to take a look at the past. How many keywords moved up, how many keywords moved down, how many remain unchanged, the newly listed keywords, the top keywords. So as you can see here, anything you see on my screen could be in a report or could be in a PDF. So if you're reporting SEO to your VP and they only need to see the summary reports, you can just share this page with them, and that just gives them everything they need to know about SEO if you are the one responsible for it. And you can go by historical data. You can actually view which specific pages rank for those keywords. So I can actually go and see what was the page that ranked for this keyword, right? And make sure that I'm targeting the right pages, and the right pages from my website are the ones that are being ranked. Because it's important. It's not a random page ranking on your website. It's another way to verify that your SEO is working. The last metrics we're going to be talking about here is Google Analytics. So the tool also integrates with Google Analytics, and the way we design it is like any piece of data and information that you need, we're going to put it all on roof. So we really didn't reinvent the wheel with these Green Lotus tools. We just got all the good wheels in one place and made them more affordable. So this tool takes a little bit to go. Let's go to another profile quickly. So what we're going to be seeing here is the over time, the last 12 months for this client. And you can see every traffic source is highlighted by a certain color, and you can view the impact of your SEO in this channel here. So this data is coming from Google Analytics. And as insightful Google Analytics is and powerful tool, you cannot get a simple dashboard as the one I'm showing you right now. You cannot get month by month traffic source across. And so it's one of the ways I like to show reports to my clients, and this is how I designed the tool as well. So you can see month over month every traffic source and how are you performing, and you have that quick glance on judging which traffic source is generating more for you, and you can see the difference between this scan and the last scan. So Facebook traffic increased in the last 12 months by 1,000 visits. You can actually set this data to show 30 days over 30 days or 12 months over 12 months. I think we covered a lot, Susan. Okay, I think that will be the end of the presentation. I just want to share a few quick slides here. These are the data sources that the tools integrate with that we talked about. These are some of our clients that are using the tools. I'm actually going to pass this. We also have the Green Lotus small businesses. And so the tools is a do-it-yourself, but if you don't have the time or the expertise, we actually offer the service in-house. I mean, actually, if you have two products, we actually manage the tools for you. And as a big thank you for you guys giving me the time to speak with you today, I'm happy to offer a promo code for 20% off on any new payments. And that's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Bassem. You're always such a wealth of information, and SEO is certainly so important to so many organizations in the tourism realm. Anybody that joined us late, we're going to go to questions. We do our questions one of two ways. You can either type the question in the question area. I see we already have a number of questions there. You can also click on that little hand symbol that lights up on my screen and lets me know that you'd like to speak directly to Bassem and ask your question yourself. And just before we go to that, next week we've got actionable insights from the latest tourism research. So hopefully we'll see you all on that next week. So let's go to our questions. The first one is, how did you say to verify with Google that my business exists?
You can go to Google for Business Center, and that's where you claim so you already have a Google Plus page. If you submitted your business to Google Maps before, you already have a Google Plus page. You just need to claim that you are the owner of this page. So sometimes they verify with you over the phone, so they will call you and give you a code that you need to type down, or they will send you a postcard with the code, and then you need to go back and claim that listing.
Okay, great. A couple of questions here regarding a PDF for today's presentation. Two ways. You've got a little handouts section there. You can just drag and drop that handout file to your desktop or to your computer. That's one way. Also, Bassem has put this up on SlideShare. And Bassem, do you have the address there on SlideShare on your last slide?
No. Just search my name on SlideShare, and I'm sure you'll find it. It's called 5 Steps to Outrank Your Competitors. The same title as we talked today.
Okay, so you can just do a search for that on SlideShare. The next question, what would you consider the top 4 things I should focus on if I'm just starting SEO?
I'll go back to that slide here. It's right here. So you've got to start from your site relevancy. You've got to start right here. Make sure that your website is top shape, your content is optimized, your structure is good. This is your step number 1. Before you consider link building or social media, you got to make your house look very nice for search engines.
Okay, excellent. The next question is, can you explain more about this stat? 43% of total Google queries are local.
That the search query have a location in it. So chartered accountant in Toronto. So the Toronto is the local part of the search query.
So you're saying that 43% of the Google queries have a geographic location in the query itself.
Correct.
Okay, great. Next question. We have 2 questions left, so if anybody has any further questions, please get them in so that we can get Bassem to cover them before the end of the session. Can you talk more about referring IPs?
Absolutely. So let's say, for example, you own 50 sites and you have them on GoDaddy, and all of those 50 sites are linking to each other. So you think you have 50 links coming to your website, but when search engines look at it, they find that the hosting is the same, the IP is the same, so they count them as one, not as 50. And this is referring IPs, the score for that. And they just want diversity of links. They want links from a .ca and from a .com, from a .gov, from different countries. So the diversity of your link type is very important.
Okay, and is I've heard .gov and .edu are more relevant than others. Is that correct?
No, are more important.
They are more important, so you get more points.
So exactly. If you have any government relationship or any educational relationship, please do yourself a favor and make sure that they link to you.
Sure. Okay, and the last question that I have, unless somebody gets one in real quick, is can you speak to Google's Mobilegeddon 2.0?
Google, sorry, say again?
Can you speak to Google's Mobilegeddon 2.0?
Oh, all right. That was actually the one of the major ranking algorithms. They haven't been such a major ranking update as the mobile update in like a year and a half. It literally impacted every site on the web. And so the whole idea is what Google is intending to do with that is offer user experience. So if your website is not mobile friendly and I'm viewing it on mobile, then I'm not going to put you on the first page of Google because I care about my user's experience. And this is what they kind of evaluated people on. So, but don't worry, your rank, if your website is not mobile friendly, is not impacted across all Google. It's only impacted, your rank is only impacted when people are viewing it on mobile. If you go Google something on your mobile, I'm not sure which, it depends on the country you're in, it will show you that this website is mobile friendly. So actually give you an upfront assurance that if you click on this link, it will be a quality site. And as I mentioned in our tools, you can measure both impacts. So you can measure the Google.ca and the Google.ca ranking. So you can actually see if there's any drop or differences between your ranking on both channels.
Okay. I do have another question that's come in. So the referring IPs should be different. If you own 20 URLs and they are being linked to your website, they should have different IPs.
Not if you host them on the same web hosting company or websites on one server and one hosting company. Most likely, they're all going to have the same IP address.
I wonder if this person is saying if you own 20 URLs that are linking to the website, I don't suppose that they're thinking that by owning 20 URLs, they're going to majorly impact their SEO by linking to their website.
No, not even. Maybe he means if he owns 20 URLs and they're all redirecting to one website. And that is kind of the same idea. It doesn't matter. It used to be a factor, but now it doesn't. So it really doesn't matter how many domain names you own that are pointing to website. The only domain that does matter is the functioning domain, the domain that have your website content. It really doesn't matter anymore how many domains you own that are pointing to this website.
Okay, and they've clarified. It says yes, redirecting. So so they don't need to have different IPs if they're just redirecting.
Yeah, and they don't really matter. Like if it's a big cost to maintain like 100 domain name, and you think that this is helping you from an SEO perspective, it doesn't get rid of the domains that you don't want, and just keep the cost of owning domain names to a minimum. Because it's not a ranking factor anymore.
Right. Okay. Well, that brings us to the last of our questions and the last of our webinar. Bassem, thank you again so much. You're always such a wealth of information, and I really would encourage all of the attendees. I've used the tools, and just absolutely phenomenal to help you gain some traction and move up with the Google search results. So I'd encourage you to use these tools, and Bassem has made a nice offer here as well. So that brings us again, like I say, to the end of our program. Bassem, thank you so much. You're always such a wealth of information.
Love being here. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you, everybody, for attending, and we'll see you next week with actionable insights from the latest tourism research. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Bye-bye.